Good evening, everyone. Well, today I'm here to talk to you about our traditional recipes. And especially, this live is dedicated to all of those people who stand up for our local, seasonal, traditional recipes. Now, why should we eat local and seasonal? First of all, we need to stop calling our local seasonal food as carbs, fats, and protein. Or for that matter, any cuisine. We cannot be calling it by just carbs, proteins, and fats. We need to address our food with their local names, like rice is supposed to be rice and not just carbs. Meat is supposed to be called meat and not just protein. And your ghee, butter is not just fat, but it's essential goodness that we need, and it's loaded with such a lot of antioxidants and micronutrients that we have forgotten about all of those. Right now, as farmers, as local people who grow local foods and who promote local food, they do not really have the bandwidth, they do not have social media influencers or a huge marketing team to market their local products. And that's one of the reasons the pharma and the food industry have been able to get into us and into our kitchens and on our plates and tell us that, and made us believe that our local, traditional, and seasonal food is not good for us, and the exotic fruits and vegetables that travel across the globe to your country and onto your plate is healthy for you. Now, there are a few things about our local Indian food, and especially it's about jaggery, ghee, rice, and coconut. Now, I'm from Goa and we live along the west coast of the country, the south of India, and we've got every cuisine that is there in the south of India has got ghee, jaggery, rice, and coconut, which forms an integral part of our kitchens, of our recipes, of our feasts, and entire cooking, right? And there are so many people who send me messages, emails, and even when they walk into my clinic and they hear me say that, you need to have jaggery, ghee, and rice and coconut as a part of your meal, even if you're a diabetic, a hypertensive, you've got thyroid, PCOD, obesity, and you're trying to lose weight, they go totally bonkers. But here's the reality, here's the truth, and I'm here to bust a lot of myths today about our local traditional food. Now, we say that rice is just carbs, but you know what? When you combine it with a pulse, with a grain, and the right kind of fat, that is ghee, it is a balanced meal. It is a complete meal. There are a few amino acids that rice lack in, but when you combine it with a pulse, like you can use urad dal, moong dal, or any other chana or dal or any sort of beans, it actually complements rice. And this mix of rice and the lentils or the beans form a perfect meal for any diabetic or any hypertensive or any person with hormonal imbalance. And when you add that dollop of ghee onto it, it makes it a complete meal. All right. So there are so many recipes as part of our cuisine. One is called as mangane. Mangane has been my favorite throughout. As a kid, and when I would go to college, we had this temple which would celebrate Sarvajanik Ganesh Chaturthi, and they would serve mangane every day. So me and my friends would always go to have it. And what is mangane? Mangane is a sweet. It's with jaggery, coconut, and sabudana, and even chana, and it's got all the goodness. So, include it as a part of your meal. It forms an amazing evening snack. Parents who are always struggling with finding recipes and what to give their kids in the evenings, these are a few. Here's a list of things that you can actually give. So mangane is one. Next is the atol. We Catholics prepare a dish with rice, jaggery, coconut, and chana dal. Sometimes it's also prepared with rava, the fat rava, also called as bulgur wheat, and it's sort of a cake, which is steamed and it's made. So it's amazing. It forms an amazing evening snack as well. Next is Methiachi pears. I've already released a video last year about Methiachi pears. Now, what is Methiachi pears? It's nothing but a kanji made of fenugreek seeds and rice. And this is an amazing meal for anybody with hormonal imbalance, anyone with diabetes, hypertension, thyroid, and also trying to lose weight. Now, methi, as you know, it really helps with regulating blood sugar levels. It works on your insulin resistance. So, make it a part of your diet. Don't just boil methi seeds in water and drink it as an infusion. That is not really the way you're supposed to have your methi seeds. But when it is combined with the jaggery, coconut, and rice, it actually brings out the best of it and you get the best of it. The next is rosantle pho. Now, what is rosantle pho? Pho is beaten rice or flat rice as we call it. Now, flat rice has got a lot of amino acids also, and it forms a very staple part of our breakfast here in Goa and many parts of South India and even North India. Now, when it's combined again with jaggery and coconut, it's called as rosantle pho here in India. But it is amazing. It can be had for breakfast as a meal itself. In fact, even for lunch, many people prefer that, and of course as an evening snack. And this rosantle pho is a very famous dish for Goans, especially for Diwali. They make it specially for Diwali and it tastes amazing. And of course, we all know about the benefits of flat rice with coconut and jaggery in it. Next are different kinds of pulses. People are so afraid and skeptical about including pulses in their diet because they say they are gassy, they give them a lot of hyperacidity, it makes you bloated. But you know what, if they are cooked right and if you eat them in the right proportion, they actually are beneficial to you. And you know, 100 grams of these beans and pulses have got more protein that can be absorbed than you could get from any meat source or a non-vegetarian source. Now, what you got to remember about pulses and beans is that they have to be soaked at least for about 6 to 8 hours before you cook it. Second, make sure that you cook it well. It's broken down well. The fiber in pulses is really hard fiber and it is difficult for our gut to digest, and that is why people actually come up with gas and hyperacidity after eating pulses or beans. So make sure you cook it well. You cook it with a good amount of spices, you know, your haldi, cumin, chilies, curry patta. So make sure that your pulses are cooked with a good amount of spice in it, and do not forget to add the dollop of ghee on it to complete that meal. So the pulses along with the good amount of cooking and ghee will make it really non-gassy and non-acidic. Now, the Goan dishes that we make are the usad. It's a very, very famous dish. Again, it has got coconut in it. It has got jaggery in it. So it brings out the goodness of the pulse. Even if you're a diabetic, even if you're a hypertensive, thyroid, or you've got multiple problems, you know, try and include this as a part of your breakfast or even as a part of your lunch or dinner. Next is a soji. Now, soji is made out of chana dal. It is a very famous Goan dish prepared at Catholic weddings, and it is something that we Catholics look forward to. And I've seen a lot of diabetics who would always hesitate to take this at the end of the meal. But trust me, that soji is much better than that ice cream or that frozen dessert or, you know, a slice of cake that you would be offered. So that soji has got your rice, it has got jaggery again, it's got coconut, and, you know, now they put in a lot of nuts and cardamom in it, and it brings out all the flavors. So enjoy that jaggery. Soji. The next is mugache godshe, also called as gati. It is again pulses, your jaggery and coconut. So each of our Goan dish has, or each of the dishes that, you know, we South Indians eat have got jaggery, have got coconut, have got rice and various kinds of pulses. So, you know, include it as a part of your meal. If you're a diabetic, it is still good for you. Next is millets. Now, this year we've dedicated it to millets, and there's such a lot of talk going on about millets. There's such a lot of awareness that our country has tried to create about millets, but still there's that apprehension. There are a lot of myths and doubts about millets, especially about ragi. Now, ragi is the finger millet, and it is one of those millets which is richest in calcium. So, parents who've got children who do not consume milk or do not like nuts and seeds, please give them millets. Ragi, finger millet. Finger millet is one of the most beneficial for people with arthritis, people with recurrent colds, low iron levels, so anemic people. So try and include this as a part of your diet. Now, how can you do it? Again, with coconut and jaggery, we also call this sattva. If you're not really a fan of coconut and jaggery, or you don't really have the time to make it, then you can make an ambil or even a kanji out of jaggery. The recipes will be shared soon on my Instagram, so stay tuned to that. But this is how you can include ragi in your diet. Secondly, if you have no time to make ambil or to make sattva, or to make anything out of ragi, just include a spoon of it in your dosa batter or your idli batter, and it makes an amazing breakfast also. So these are a few ways that you can include the finger millet in your diet. The next is our vegetables. So, the sweet potato or the katkonga or the konga that we call it, we get it now in this season, and there are all these root vegetables that are available. They come in different sizes and different colors, and it's so fascinating to see them, when they come. But they're packed with such a lot of goodness, and you can make various kinds of recipes with these. They're amazing for digestion, skin, your hair for winter, and of course, it improves your immunity and helps you to lose weight during the winter season. Again, they can be cooked along with jaggery and coconut. You can make a cake out of something called as tausali. It is made out of cucumber. It's called a steamed cucumber cake. You can make something called as khatkate with all the Goan vegetables. This is one of my favorite dishes, the khatkate. It's whenever I visit my best friend, she lives in Panjim, but her mom makes one of the best khatkates, and I really enjoy it. These are some of those recipes, a few recipes that I know of and I could gather information about, but I'm sure there are so many that are there, and every part of Goa, rather every part of India, has got its own style of cooking a certain dish. So please try and make sure that you carry that traditional dish forward, whatever is part of your culture and your tradition. Do not let go of it, and come what may, the food industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. They're going to tell you that what you're eating or what your ancestors have been eating is not right for you. But we're all intelligent people. Let's use our common sense and let's think for ourselves. Now, there is one important reason why I keep saying that eat local, eat seasonal, eat traditional, and especially traditional, is because the memory of that traditional food is already engraved in your DNA, and it comes to you through your genes. So your parents, your grandparents, your great grandparents have already passed it down to you. So your liver actually has the memory of this food that your ancestors have been eating. So the minute you introduce something that is exotic, like some sort of a high protein meal, or a vegetable that you've not been eating in the past, actually affects your liver, and that's where all the problem starts. Your liver actually is the organ that needs the traditional, seasonal and local food in order for you to lose weight, for you to have good immunity, to get those cholesterol levels down, and all of the reasons of goodness. All right, so thank you all of you for joining. I had a lovely time doing this live because it was talking about all of my favorite dishes, and that is all local, seasonal and traditional. Well, we have got the 100 days program, which if any one of you wants to join, it's a 14 weeks program in which we include meal plans, consultation, and it can even be done online. So do get in touch. It's for diabetics, hypertensives, people with hormonal imbalance, gut health issues, and a lot of other problems. Thank you very much for joining in, and I'll see you next Friday.